developer, moving with that economy.
That power not only carries, but the dynamic, explosive quality of being the biggest bully and the fight.
Naoya Inoue makes history.
With a beautiful straight right hand. Did you see the shoulder? That was a nice little shoulder roll right there.
What a right hand it was.
Inoue started this fight the way that he ended it. He just got on fire.
Just outclassed tonight.
Outclassed, outmuscled,
Out everything.
out everything.
It was a strong punch, you know, similar to Darchinyan when I was fighting him at his best. He hits hard, you know, but I think the most dangerous for me was that body shot. That one hurt. That one hurt a lot.
Naoya Inoue has always been a certified GOAT, and you didn't even need his pro record to see it.
Comes Inoue. Oh, he's got it to the body. Oh, what a shot. More than that. Surely Rodriguez.
At just 19 years old, he absolutely dominated rising Japanese prospect Ryoichi Taguchi in sparring, dropping him all over the gym and leaving no doubt who was boss. That brutal beatdown was devastating for Taguchi, but it also became a lesson that would shape him into a top-tier fighter in his own right. Fast forward a year, and the two would meet again, this time in the pro ring. And what happened next would shock the world. How did Naoya Inoue completely dismantle one of Japan's best boxers back in 2012? Let's break it down. Before Naoya Inoue became the feared monster of the boxing world, his talent was already evident in the gym, and one sparring session, in particular, would come to define both him and one of Japan's most durable fighters, Ryoichi Taguchi. At the time, Taguchi was a title contender, already training hard and gaining respect in the Japanese boxing scene. But on that ill-fated day in 2012, he was about to face a young phenom fresh out of high school, a boy whose talent and ferocity would leave a lasting impression on everyone in the room. Scheduled for just 4 rounds, the sparring session quickly became one-sided. Naoya, barely into his early days as a professional trainee, unleashed a torrent of combinations, moving with the speed, precision, and timing that would eventually terrify the world's best. Each jab, hook, and uppercut came with the intent of both testing and punishing. And Taguchi struggled to keep up with this young warhorse. By the 3rd round, Taguchi had been knocked down repeatedly and beaten up by a fighter he thought he'd school. The scheduled 4th round never happened because Taguchi had been overpowered, outclassed, and sent to the canvas enough times that the sparring session was halted. The experience left a huge dent in Taguchi. That night, he could not sleep. He was frustrated, embarrassed, because the realization that a younger fighter had exposed his weaknesses consumed him. He cried alone in his bed, not out of weakness, but out of the burning desire to improve, to ensure that such a defeat would never happen again. That night, Taguchi made a silent promise to himself. He would train harder and one day take out this young kid. He would go on to face hard-hitting opponents like Carlos Canizales and Kosei Tanaka, never once being knocked down in his professional career. In fact, Taguchi would later admit that the only fighter who ever knocked him down in a significant way was a young Naoya Inoue. This sparring session became a turning point in Taguchi's life, and it would carry him to the WBA title, which he would defend 7 times, and eventually to the IBF and Ring Magazine belts. Meanwhile, Naoya continued his meteoric rise, carrying with him the confidence that comes from dominating a champion. With both men rising to be champions, a clash between the two was inevitable, and it would happen only a year after their sparring. This was Taguchi's chance to even things out, but could he really do it? In 2013, Naoya Inoue would fight Ryoichi Taguchi for the light flyweight title in a fight that had a lot on the line. The title, first and foremost, but Taguchi's pride, which had been violated by Naoya a year ago, was more important to restore. It was a classic Hollywood-style hero versus villain story, but the twist was neither Naoya nor Taguchi was truly the bad guy. They were simply warriors with an unmatched desire to win. From the moment the opening bell rang, Inoue wasted no time establishing the framework of his fight. His jab snapped sharply like a whip across the air, crisp and deliberate, and it tested Taguchi's reflexes and rhythm. Taguchi attempted to circle and measure the distance, moving like a careful predator that understands the need to observe before committing. But Inoue's footwork, deceptively light yet explosively precise, allowed him to cut angles and force exchanges on his own terms. The first round became an early demonstration of the contrast between styles. On one side was the young and hungry aggressor who relied on speed, accuracy, and a near-scientific approach to combination punching. On the other was a methodical veteran who sought to weather the storm and exploit even the smallest overextension. By the end of the first round, it was apparent to anyone watching that Inoue was not only quick, but already thinking several punches ahead, manipulating distance and timing in ways that would become his signature over the next decade. As the fight moved into the second and third rounds, Taguchi began attempting to impose his own strategy. He pressed forward with steady pressure and landed the occasional clean jab or hook to test Inoue. For a fleeting moment, it seemed that the veteran might unsettle the young prodigy and force a misstep that would create a pivotal opening. Inoue, however, responded with the calm ferocity of a predator that had been trained to anticipate and exploit any window of vulnerability. His counters were quick and clean, and they were snapping Taguchi's head back again and again. Inoue also targeted the body with pinpoint accuracy and gradually eroded his foe's stamina that would eventually become a critical factor in the later rounds. By the fourth and fifth rounds, the fight had shifted into a sustained tactical and physical duel. Inoue was now taking the center of the ring and delivering a barrage of combinations that forced Taguchi into constant defensive adjustments. Inoue's body shots thundered across the arena. They proved that control and initiative belonged to the younger man, and that any attempt to impose one's will would come at a heavy cost. Taguchi, however, displayed the kind of durability that had earned him respect. He stood firm and circled just enough to create angles, occasionally landing counter shots that reminded spectators that while Inoue had speed and power, boxing is as much about mental endurance as it is about physical capability. The contrast between Inoue's aggressive style and Taguchi's measured, resistant approach created a rhythm both beautiful and brutal. It was a testament to the fact that fights are as much about psychology, heart, and strategy as they are about punches and knockouts. In the latter part of the fight, Inoue began to turn up the heat, reading Taguchi's responses with increasing accuracy and delivering combinations that were both punishing and surgical. His signature left hook and right-hand crosses began to find their mark with consistency, and Taguchi's attempts to counter became less effective as fatigue set in. The fight, while still competitive in spirit, began to tilt toward the young monster in the making. Inoue was not merely winning. He was dictating the terms of the fight and forcing his opponent to bend to his rhythm. Inoue was gradually shaping the contest into a display of controlled dominance rather than chaotic brawling. Yet Taguchi refused to give way entirely, firing back with the man fighting for his honor. He pressed forward, clinched when necessary, and landed sporadic counters that reminded the crowd that his experience and stubborn heart could not be discounted. As the fight transitioned into the final round, the pace intensified and the stakes escalated, both physically and psychologically. Inoue's combinations became increasingly fluid, seamless in their integration of head and body attacks, while Taguchi relied on reflex, ring generalship, and a stubborn refusal to yield to withstand the assault. Each clean shot landed by Inoue drew gasps, and each unexpected counter from Taguchi elicited cheers. The fight became a showcase not only of athletic prowess, but also of mental toughness, of willpower, and of a desire to test the limits of human resilience. Inoue's ability to read his opponent, anticipate reactions, and exploit openings while maintaining energy and composure was remarkable, and a sign of a prodigy in the making who understood that domination is both art and science. Taguchi, despite visible fatigue and the mounting punishment, continued to press forward, refusing to retreat, while Inoue demonstrated why he would soon be regarded as one of the most dangerous and skilled fighters in the world. As the bell finally sounded, it was clear that Inoue had controlled the narrative, the pace, and the momentum, and left no doubt in the minds of spectators and judges that he was the rightful winner. It was the biggest win of Naoya's career up until that point. But beyond the numbers, the scorecards, and the technical aspects, the true significance lay in what the fight represented: the forging of a future superstar, who would go on to redefine his divisions, and a veteran whose resilience ensured that the victory carried the weight of earned legitimacy rather than untested hype.
そうですね、しっかり練習してるんで、
After taking out Taguchi, Naoya Inoue's rise became nothing short of meteoric. He went on to claim titles in 4 different weight divisions, starting with the WBC light flyweight belt, then adding the WBO super flyweight crown, before moving up to bantamweight and ultimately conquering super bantamweight. In December 2022, he made history by becoming the undisputed bantamweight champion, unifying the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO titles in a dominant knockout win over Paul Butler. Not content with that, Inoue moved up again, and in late 2023 KO'd Marlon Tapales to become the undisputed super bantamweight champion, holding all 4 major belts in his new weight class. By 2025, he had defended his super bantamweight titles multiple times, including a brutal win over Luis Neri and a unanimous decision over Murodjon Akhmadaliev, extending his perfect record to 31-0 with 27 KOs.
Unless the jab hasn't
Thanks to his power, speed, and ring IQ, many now regard him as one of the greatest boxers of his generation and one of the greatest fighters of all time.
That power not only carries, but the dynamic, explosive quality of being the biggest bully and the viper.
Taguchi has had his share of success as well, but his stats and achievements are not even close to what Naoya has achieved in his career, and there is no shame in it. He lost to someone who is just levels ahead of everyone else. He has always been, even at 19 years old when they sparred. Deep down, Taguchi must be proud to have shared the ring with a GOAT. After all, he's one of the few who have taken Naoya's hits in a pro bout and not gone down. That, in itself, is an achievement. So that's the story of what happened when Naoya Inoue met a childhood rival inside the cage and showed the world why he's feared, respected, and admired in equal measure. Where do you rank Naoya Inoue among the greatest fighters of all time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
He established control right from the start.
And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.